Howdy folks, Dreadshells here, and welcome back to World of Tanks. I have another game to show you guys today on a city slash corridor type of map in a scout tank. And this particular game is played in my M41 Walker Bulldog on the Windstorm map from the west spawn. Basically for all the same reasons. If you guys watched my RU251 video that I did previous to this one on the Pilsen map, all the reasons I listed in that video of why I don't like the Pilsen map is pretty similar to why I don't like the Windstorm map either. Now, I don't want anyone to get the impression that I don't like city maps or certain city maps and corridor maps because I'm a light tank player, and I just don't like those maps because they're not the best maps for scout tanks. There are certain city maps that I actually do like and I think that are balanced, even though they're not the best maps for scouts. Maps like Khmelevsky, maps like Ruinberg. Where I think that the maps are conducive to team play, the flanks interact with one another, you can support your teammates and they can support you from a tactical point of view. And even though your vision and your view range doesn't mean as much on those maps, you can still do something, right? I don't like certain city maps, and I don't like most corridor maps because most of them are designed in such a way that where you're fighting with the enemy, it's very isolated, and usually you're stuck in a arty firing lane. So if you want to fight the enemy, you end up getting shot by arty over and over again, and it's very easy for arty to shoot you because it's very predictable where the tanks are going to be, right? Because there's only certain areas in the map that you can drive. And actually, this particular game I actually played earlier today. And let's see if I can go into free cam here. There we go. And I'll minimize the team list, bring up the map. And I'll do this real quick and explain why I think Windstorm falls into the latter category of maps that I don't like. You basically have three main areas in Windstorm here. You have the north corridor area type of map where it moves along from the west, it turns north and then turns east and kind of meets in this half diagonals, shallow V shape here along this northern road. And enemy tanks exchange fire here, and the engagement points are very, very close to each other, right? The east spawn over here gets a really strong advantage in defending this north road because tank destroyers can sit up here in this higher elevation, where there is from the spawn that I'm from currently. Tanks can sit back here and defend, but they will definitely be spotted at least because it's a lot closer and the ground is actually lower. So it's a little bit better for the north. But if I go all the way back here, right, and you have a really wide view of this entire northern side of the map is more or less isolated from the rest of the map, right? You have these couple of gaps here and here, but anytime that you peek from here, you get shot from these corners here, right? So you can't really interact with the fighting area that's in here in the center, and it's kind of hard to get vision on the sniper area over here where this cathedral and church is, and if you're from the other spawn, it's kind of hard to get vision on the sniping area that's back here. So this particular flank is more or less isolated from the rest of the map. Also, this riverbed here is really, really annoying because it slows down your tank, even if you're using these fjord areas. And so it slows your tank down and makes you exposed for a longer amount of time to these sniping areas right here and right here. So that is that area of the map. Let's see if I can speed up the camera angle. I guess it's already at max speed. And now we move on to the second main area of the map, the center here. Now the center area of Windstorm is basically, it's okay tactically. I still don't like it because basically you have the center brawling area right here in the center along this rock, and then you have slightly defensive positions here from the church and this house here from that side, and from this side you have this windmill right here, and these houses right here that can help defend, and these houses here that can help defend from here. And then you have this secondary street right here that follows along the same line as this overall center map area, where you can move around and use for cover to get slightly better angles of attack on the center. But the really big problem with the center of the map area is that is two. One, it is entirely exposed to artillery. If you want to fight in the center of the map here, you're going to get shot by arty. There's no avoiding it. And that's actually true for the north area too. It's very difficult to be an arty cover and not giving up a very important strategic part of the north as well. So if you want to fight in the north and hold important areas of the map, you're going to get shot by arty over and over. So that's one thing. And then the kind of the second half of the center is where it starts to blend into the city before the other river makes a turn right here. This area I kind of end up fighting in a lot on this map towards the early and mid game. I like to play in this area here, but because at least you have some arty cover in here, and at least you have some multiple angles of attack. And then you have this entire southern city area over here where you basically have three main avenues of attack. You have this street here with this bridge, this street here with this bridge, and then you have this outside lane here with that has a fjords crossing in the water right here as well. And they're all on the same angle of attack. So if you want to change the traditional meta of engagement in a game, you're going to have to cross the river early or push one of these lanes aggressively or something like that. But like the same problem that I mentioned with the north spawn, the reason that I don't like this map is that, or the north flank rather, the reason that I don't like this map is because the north flank over here is isolated from the center, right? The center flank here is isolated from the north and mostly from the city, right? Whatever is going on here and this kind of subdivision that's the pre-city area right here is pretty much isolated from what's going on in the city. And the city flank here does not really interact with the center at all either. So you basically have three individual fights going on that it might as well be three different maps because they're all isolated from one another. Now, of course, that will change as soon as one team wins one particular area of the map, right? Either the north or the city or the center, and then you can actually start flanking the other types of or the other parts of the map. But it's very difficult to figure out where the enemy is weak on this map as well because of how the vision lanes work. All the areas over here, like let's say for instance, if I go over here, it's very difficult to know where the enemy team is sending how many of their tanks and which tanks they're sending, because look how close all these angles are and your vision is really obstructed. It's a little bit better over here in the north. You can cross here. You can get some vision here a little bit in the early game, but it's really risky, and you usually can get counter spotted very easily. You can go up here to this traditional mound here where scouts like to go. But once again, enemy tanks push up really aggressively here on the north as well, and they get really close to you, and you can't sit here and stay safe with your camo rating either, and you might end up having to run away if they have too many tanks over here. So basically it's really hard to play tactically smart on this map because you don't know, you can't get vision on the enemy team, and nobody knows where the enemy tanks are until they're right on top of them, right? Or they're very close to them. So you you can't make good decisions, and you can't help your teammates make good decisions because it's very hard to get early vision on the enemy team. Anyway, that long ramble done. I'll get the team list back up here and the mini map back up here. Thank you for willing to listen to that really long ramble, but that is I just wanted to get that out there. Those are my thoughts on Windstorm. Of course, there's several boost spots, quote unquote, that you can use. You can get up here into this northwest mountain area if you do it right. You can get onto the southwest mountain. You can get into A0. And I think you could still hop up onto the perch here in D5, but it doesn't change a whole lot of the meta of the map, and usually these boost positions end up being defensive positions and not really proactive positions. So anyway, rambling is done. Let's get on with the game. And like I said in my Prokhorovka video about me playing the Bulldog and trying to enjoy it before I think it will become less powerful in the next patch. So that's kind of the reason why I'm playing the Bulldog still. So I decided to move up here into the north here. What I like to do here is I like to cross low. Sorry, I'm pausing here again. And I'll explain why I like to do that. Sometimes you can post up here in this bush and spot enemy tanks that are crossing right here. Although it's very hard to position yourself in this bush and still get vision because this bush is so far back along this ridge line. But anyway, how I like to cross this gap here is I like to actually cross low. A lot of people, when they're driving through the north, they like to take the line that this E25 is, where he's just driving here and up like this, right? I don't like doing that because if I get spotted crossing here, if the enemy has a tank here, that means that I'll be exposed for a longer period of time when I'm driving up the slope. The slope right here, as you're crossing up here, can get shot from basically this corner right here, and it can get shot from the church as well. So generally it's very hard for them to react in time and snapshot you as you move across this gap low. And if you move across here and there's a tank here, then you know that they're there, right? And then you wait to get unspotted. And actually what happens, and you'll see as I drive up here, if there is a tank there and you wait to get unspotted and then you move up here, there are pine trees back here that will keep you protected. And I already run into a T-34-100 here. Luckily, I think he has a really, really bad crew. My first shot didn't get me spotted by him. And the Bulldog is really, really, really balanced. I can clip out a tier 7 medium, no problem, even missing or bouncing a shell or two. And we take out the entirety of that tier 7 Czech medium tank there. Now that I have early vision here, and then I killed that tank, and I see that the Lerva and the OI there are on the A line there in the north, I have no desire to push and be proactive with that, right? Our E25 is going full YOLO. That's a really nice way of going full stupid, and he suicides and completely throws away his tank. He does spot the tier 7 German tank destroyer there and the Hellcat, and we know that the FCM-50T is there. And now the most forward tank on this flank besides myself is the T-29. So I have no desire to fight the tanks that are up here frontally, so I'm retreating and backing off, and then I'm going to try and find an isolated enemy tank or isolated group of enemy tanks and try to help my team push an advantage somewhere else on the map. Trying to wait there, take a quick look there and see if the Lerva is going to push, but it doesn't, and cross, and maybe I can get shots, but he isn't. But I'm looking at the mini map here, right? And our heavies are surrounding the enemy heavies here on the South City. They crossed the center river here across the bridges, and now they have them surrounded on two sides. So I'm going to go over here and help support my heavies here in the city. It sounds really weird doing this in a scout on a city map, but it's better than me trying to peek and trade with tanks over here in the center or in the north. And since these heavies are most likely distracted by my heavies and looking in the other direction, it's actually a lot more safe to engage these heavies than you would think. Waste a shot there as our VK 4502A secures the kill there on the T-29. Trying to aim in between the tracks and the upper strip of the IS-6 armor, so most of my shots will pin. If you aim too high or too low on the side of an IS-6, even at 90 degrees, you will actually bounce a decent amount of shells, especially with a gun like the M41 Bulldog. So we were able to put a decent amount of damage into that IS-6, and the point is he was going to die anyway, right? Because of how many of our team are over here. But the point is, I'm helping kill him faster, right? The quicker that you can kill enemy tanks and destroy enemy tanks on an area where you have an advantage on the map, the quicker that you can then move on and advance, or move back and defend, right? Expedite the situation as much as possible and make it more efficient. Now the FCM 50T is crossing out into the open. Unfortunately, our first shot misses. Part of that had to do with me not leading it quite enough, and part of it had to do with the shot going really high to the right. I decided to go for a reload here. Could argue that I probably should have waited and seen if I could have gotten another shot or two into the FCM 50T before I reloaded, but I'm kind of weird with my autoloaders when I'm playing autoloaders like the Bulldog or the T71 or the SP1C. Generally, I'm really quick on that R key when I think that there's a lull in the opportunity of me to shoot enemy tanks. If I don't see immediate opportunity to shoot an enemy tank in a few seconds, generally I go ahead and hit that R key to really reload and get a full clip and a full magazine. Now our KV-4 and VK have moved up and are facing off against this FCM 50T. One of the enemy tanks is capping, and there we see that it's the WZ-131. And as long as the FCM 50T is going to allow me to peek over here and shoot the WZ-131, I'm going to do so. Missed my second shot on him there and leave him on 1 hit point. Of course it's 1 hit point, right? But one of my teammates ended up taking out the WZ-131. T-3485 is trying to be cheeky and snipe up there on the upper slope of the mountain there in D1, but I spot him and end up putting a few shots of damage into him and force him to run away. Put 2 shots into the FCM 50T. Another one of my teammates puts a shot into him. I think that was the T20 on my team, which put him down to 1 shot. And then I secure the kill with the final shot in my magazine. Now we're just closing the distance using the time of us reloading to close the distance, relocate, get closer to the enemy, and that way as soon as we're reloaded we have a shot of opportunity to do damage. Not sure if the Lurva there was shooting at me or if he was shooting at one of my heavies behind me, but either way he missed me, so that's nice. And very surprisingly, the OI on the enemy team is still alive. So my OI on my team and my T-37 are being very conservative and tentative. That's probably because my T-37 there is a one-shot. Technically, the OI can one-shot the T-37 even if he is full health. So he's playing it conservative, being patient, waiting for backup, and backup is coming as I'm almost there, and I'm almost able to come around from behind the OI here and flank him and put pressure on him from another angle. Now we have the side of the OI. Really bad auto aim shot there on my second shot as it was aimed high on the chassis of the OI. Actually bounced off the angled armor of the upper structure of his chassis. So realized my mistake rather. Take off auto aim and adjust my aim to make sure that I'm aiming correctly into the side of him, and we end up securing the kill. So yeah, another game in a scout on a city map. We end up getting a lot of damage in this game, 4,200 damage, which is really good. But once again, when you're top tier in the matchmaking and a really powerful scout when it comes to firepower in the M41 Walker Bulldog with its 10-shot autoloader, the expectation of you to do well is a lot higher as opposed to when you're bottom tier, to do as much as you can to help your team win the games. So even on a really poor tactical map like Windstorm, still do what you can to help your team win the game. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching this game in my M41 Walker Bulldog on the Windstorm map. Wish you guys the best of luck in figuring out how to do your best to play on this map in your scouts. Happy hunting and take care.